Territorial disputes in the South China Sea. The 2016 arbitral ruling, long-term significance and conclusion. The 2016 Arbitral Tribunal Award marked a historic milestone in the South China Sea dispute, reshaping the legal and strategic landscape of the region. Although stemming from a bilateral case between the Philippines and China, its implications extend far beyond, affecting regional security, freedom of navigation, and the rule of law at sea. The award reaffirmed the authority of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea UNCLOS, rejecting China's historic rights claims within the 9-dash line. It clarified the legal status of maritime features, stating that none in the Spratly Islands qualify for an exclusive economic zone, EEZ, thereby limiting potential maritime entitlements. By denying historic rights and reinforcing legal standards, the ruling serves as a global precedent for resolving maritime disputes. Politically, it challenged China's expansive claims and highlighted the role of international tribunals in defending legal norms, regardless of a state's power. The award also encouraged regional actors like Vietnam, Malaysia, and Brunei to assert their maritime rights with greater confidence. For Vietnam in particular, it has become a crucial legal basis to defend its sovereignty in contested areas, such as the Vanguard Bank and the Paracels. It has shaped Vietnam's approach to legal diplomacy, prompting a firmer stance in asserting its jurisdiction over its EEZ and continental shelf. Internationally, the ruling has gained support from countries like the US, Japan, Australia, and India, reinforcing calls for freedom of navigation and overflight. It has become a focal point in regional diplomacy, strengthening ASEAN's central role and increasing momentum for a binding code of conduct in the South China Sea. Despite China's rejection, the award remains a binding legal instrument. While enforcement is limited, its existence bolsters ASEAN's collective position and the broader international effort to promote a rules-based maritime order. South China Sea territorial disputes. ASEAN impacts. In conclusion, the South China Sea remains a critical arena of international tension, shaped by sovereignty claims, maritime disputes, and strategic competition. ASEAN has consistently affirmed its commitment to regional stability, dialogue, and adherence to international law, particularly the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea UNCLOS. Guided by principles of neutrality and peaceful dispute resolution, ASEAN has achieved modest consensus on broad issues like maritime security and non-use of force. However, internal divisions and the competing interests of major powers, especially China and the United States, pose ongoing challenges. The absence of a binding enforcement mechanism further limits ASEAN's capacity to ensure compliance with joint commitments. To strengthen its role, ASEAN must enhance its diplomatic toolkit, prioritize the Code of Conduct, COC, with China to create a legally binding framework aligned with UNCLOS that reduces tensions and manages disputes transparently and fairly. Utilize platforms like the ASEAN Regional Forum and East Asia Summit to engage external stakeholders in multilateral dialogue, build trust, and coordinate joint maritime or humanitarian initiatives. Promote Track 2 diplomacy by supporting think tanks and civil society in generating new ideas and facilitating informal communication between disputing parties. Strategically, ASEAN should deepen partnerships with powers that support a rules-based order, while maintaining autonomy to avoid entanglement in rivalries. It should also consider flexible, issue-based coalitions to pursue targeted maritime cooperation, even without full consensus. ASEAN's role goes beyond territorial disputes. It is about defending multilateralism and the international legal order in an increasingly contested Indo-Pacific. By refining its strategies and embracing adaptive diplomacy, ASEAN can help ensure that the South China Sea remains a zone of peace and cooperation in the United Nations' role in conflict resolution. The case of South China Sea disputes. Conclusion: the South China Sea dispute is one of the most complex territorial conflicts in the Asia-Pacific, involving overlapping sovereignty claims and strategic rivalries. The United Nations (UN), as the leading multilateral institution, has emphasized peaceful dispute settlement, respect for international law, and the maintenance of global peace and security. In this context, the UN's role has been largely normative, relying on legal frameworks such as the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS 1982, and supporting multilateral dialogues. UNCLOS serves as the constitution for the oceans, offering clear rules on maritime entitlements, navigational rights, and exclusive economic zones. A landmark development was the 2016 arbitral ruling under UNCLOS that invalidated China's 9-line claim. However, China's rejection of the ruling exposed the limitations of international legal mechanisms without enforcement capabilities. The UN cannot compel compliance and must rely on the voluntary cooperation of member states. Although the UN has not directly mediated the South China Sea dispute, no binding Security Council or General Assembly resolutions have been issued. It has supported peaceful engagement. Successive UN Secretaries General have called for restraint and dialogue. The UN also contributes by offering technical support, legal guidance, and platforms for diplomatic exchange. The 2023 High Seas Treaty further reflects the UN's ongoing commitment to maritime governance, biodiversity, and sustainability, indirectly contributing to regional stability. Moving forward, the UN should continue promoting the universality of UNCLOS, using its moral authority to encourage compliance. It can support ASEAN states through legal capacity building and technical assistance, while fostering Track 1.5 and Track 2 dialogues to build trust among claimant and external states.